Welcome to the SEO.co Search Engine Optimization Podcast. Digital marketing essentials and next level tactics. From offsite and on-site optimization to persuasive selling and everything in between. You'll learn actionable tips on what it takes to outright and outrank your competition. Now, here's your host, Timothy Carter.
Thanks for joining me on the podcast. Today we're going to talk about why SEO is so difficult and why it will get even harder. You know, in today's SEO environment, it's important to be realistic and have a clear idea of what you can expect. So let's get right to it. Here are 4 ways SEO is set to become harder as we head into the future. You know, number 1, content continues to become more important. You know, fresh content has always been an SEO mainstay, but it becomes increasingly important as the years tick by. You know, high quality content is wrapped up in SEO like never before, and that means generally that more effort is required for marketers. Why does this require more effort? You know, well, for starters, you know, it demands a dramatic change in perspective. You know, while the focus used to be placed primarily on performing link building and on-page SEO, you now need to really widen your focus to include content marketing in a big way. You'll still need to do, you know, obviously keyword research and delve into the specifics of what your competition is doing, of course. But, you know, the majority of your time will be spent creating original high quality content that demands to be read, commented on, and shared. You know, this is obviously much harder than the SEO tactics of old, where all you needed to do was, you know, conduct some basic keyword research and create content around a few targeted terms. Back then, you'd see your site rank for these terms, and that was that. Now, obviously, you know, every single business out there has competition, which means no matter how much on-page optimization you do, you may not necessarily see your site rank well. So, enter the allure of high-quality content, you know. When you write content that is targeted to your industry, relevant to your audience, and is highly valuable and answers, you know, key questions they would ask, you know, it serves multiple purposes. It's useful for people to read, yes, but it's also more likely to be linked to, and it's more likely to be shared on social networks. And it's even more likely that you'll hit upon several long tail keyword type phrases. You know, obviously Google is getting smarter. People are getting smarter too, obviously, and hopefully, and looks for context and relevancy in those search results. So all the more reason to make sure your content checks off those boxes, you know, of being high quality and answering those key questions, and, you know, is relevant to your target audience. Number 2, your guest blogging needs to be smarter. You know, if you keep up with SEO, with the SEO world at all, you know, you've likely heard, you know, that guest blogging was pretty much done. You know, that goes all the way back to Matt Cutts. What they've been referring to, you know, is guest blogging for links. You know, they've put in a lot of effort now with, you know, sponsored relevancy and no follows for those link attributions. So, you know, it's those kind of posts that you could write up in 20 minutes to submit to a blog that publishes everything from nail care tips to home refinancing advice, and has virtually no control for quality. You know, those kind of sites, those are the ones they're talking about. You know, they're solely designed for providing backlinks, and that obviously looks spammy to Google's algorithms. If you want to make guest blogging work, and I still do think it's a worthwhile tactic to pursue, you need to put in the effort. And that means writing high quality content that appeals directly to your target audience, and then submitting those posts to relevant, high quality sites in your niche. And that's really the only way to make guest blogging work for you. And, you know, it is indeed, you know, it definitely is work. It's not a short-term project that you can knock out in an hour. Number 3, social media needs your attention. Obviously on the surface, social media might not seem like it has much of anything to do with SEO, but that's likely because you're thinking of it in an outdated way. SEO encompasses a whole lot more than just keywords and site rank. In fact, a lot of companies out there have slimmed down their traditional SEO strategy in favor of a more robust social media strategy. Those two are, really linked, which is a big change for people comfortable, for people who are comfortable in the old world or old school SEO. That idea here is to build traffic to your site without the aid of a search engine. An active social presence can get you a ton of referral links and a dedicated follower base, which some might argue has even more value than a high rank in the search engines. Regardless of how well you're doing in the search results, you need to take the time to develop a social presence too. Even more work for over SEOs, yes, but necessary just the same, or hire in-house for someone who is specialized in social media and producing that content. And number 4, SEO just isn't what it used to be. SEO is all about diversification these days. Think you can rank for one hot keyword in your niche and call it a day? No, think again. That's just not how the game is played anymore. You see, where your site winds up in the search results relies on way too many factors. Personalization is huge. And that means people logged into Google will see results based on more factors than just the Google algorithm. Their results are affected by browsing history, personal interests, social network presence, and more. Though all these things are outside of your control, but it's the way of the world now, so you have to get used to it. And even though SEO might not be as familiar to some who've been in the game since the beginning, the principles are still the same. You still need good on-page SEO. You still need good content. And you still need to be building links. The emphasis is taken off the idea of ranking for particular keywords and instead placed on how relevant your site is to your niche and to your target audience. It's really about a big picture and quality answering of questions that your ideal target audience would be asking. SEO really is poised to get more complicated as time goes on, but don't let that discourage you. A good website is a good website, plain and simple. You just have to put in the effort to make sure other people know that too. You will definitely need some elbow grease to get any SEO traction. That's where, our white label SEO service comes into play. We assist small businesses, major corporations, other digital marketing agencies looking to scale their link building and be able to improve the organic visibility of their site. So if you need some help with that kind of work, come on over to SEO.co and schedule a time to have a free consultation. Learn how we can help you scale your ability to outwrite and outrank your competition.
Thank you for joining us on the SEO.co podcast. We appreciate your time. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show and visit SEO.co for more resources based on today's topic, as well as access to more podcast episodes to help you improve your site's long-term SEO success.